Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome one, welcome all, and welcome back to the Bleav in State podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Carter.
And I'm your host, Cody Van Salem.
Cody, what a weekend. We are basically now in the dead of college basketball season. Fortunately, the sad part is now the Super Bowl is over. Now we have to wait like 7 more months till football comes back. But hey, you know what? We have a top five basketball team. Let's talk about that. First, we're going to take a look at the top 10 in the AP poll.
Yeah, and while you mentioned the Super Bowl, got to give a shout out to former Iowa State player J.R. Singleton. He was on the Seattle Seahawks, and I saw they did football did put out a graphic. So, what a way to start your year! You just talked about the fact that Iowa State finally has a guy who did win a Super Bowl.
It's great, man. It's a great feeling.
Yep. So, congrats to him and to anybody who had the Seattle Seahawks win a Super Bowl. Looks like you feel great. I think you got some vindication. You exercised some demons from 11 years ago.
And it sort of probably has to sting
Awesome.
for you, with basically seeing probably the 49ers' biggest rival winning in their own stadium. Sort of, that has to sting.
A little bit. A little bit. But we move.
Yeah,
when we ball, I'm trusting
yeah.
them.
If it we
Faithful
ball,
to the Bay, and we're winning the damn thing next year. I don't care if we aren't. We're winning it next year.
if you make it, you lose anyways.
All right.
All right. Well, anyways, today we had a new AP poll. Arizona stays strong at number one. Michigan goes to number two. Houston moves up after having a good few weeks now at 21-2. They are now 9-1 in conference. Duke goes to number four. They stand pat. And Houston moves up 5 spots from number eight from last week. Iowa State moves into the top five after a win versus Baylor. They move up 2 spots. And UConn dropping down 3 spots after losing to St. John's at Madison Square Garden 81-72. Nebraska goes up 2 spots as they beat Rutgers 80-68. Illinois drops 3 spots after losing 85-82 in overtime to Michigan State. Kansas moves up 2 spots, and Michigan State moves into the top 10 and stays at number 10 after getting a big win over Illinois, um, which I didn't know who was leading the Big Ten. And now Michigan's all by themselves, and we have a cluster at the top of the Big Ten with Illinois, Michigan, and Michigan State.
Yeah.
So, Cody, what are your thoughts about the top 10?
Overall, I think this pretty much lined up with what I thought. I didn't have a personal thing of Kansas. I think what was it? Because this was after they beat Texas. Texas Tech. Kansas
Yeah.
beats Texas Tech in Lubbock. I thought maybe they would have moved up a couple more spots because that's a really good win on the road. Lead, and then they kind of just gave it away. But maybe it was more of a credit to North Carolina, but it does feel weird. And I kind of, in a dream world, I would have had Arizona number one, Michigan two, Houston three, Kansas four, Iowa State five. I had Iowa State simply because of the head to head and the fact that Kansas was won 7 straight in conference. But this Duke's only second loss, and it's to North Carolina, who got themselves back into a pretty good a chance for a decent seed in the tournament. Because I talked with some North Carolina fans, and they were kind of worried they didn't have that really signature conference winner. They didn't feel good about Hubert Davis and whatnot. But I think this win, from from an outsider's fan's perspective, this win might save Hubert Davis's job, because I know some of them North Carolina fans want to fire. But after this, beating Duke, and in the fashion it happened too, because Seth Trimble essentially walking the game off with that corner three, which was his only make of the game, and that being the only time North Carolina had led. I was that was about the most perfect ending you could have possibly had for that game. So overall, that was fun. But that was probably the main course of what was a pretty stacked day in college, pretty good day in college basketball.
Yeah, and we will get into that international slash Big 12 segment later on in the show. What I know we were talking about KU. Do you think that they might have gotten punished because of their close win at home against Utah? Because it just seems like, every single Big 12 team, at least Kansas and Iowa State, they struggled on Saturday against inferior teams.
Like that's a maybe. They might have taken that into consideration, but I mean, at the end of the day, um, like their wins. So when like you're making a
Right, a
scene,
win's a
like they're
win.
probably not. Yeah, it's not gonna be. Yeah, obviously it wasn't the prettiest. I mean, Iowa State had a double-digit lead with like 3 minutes to go, and then it ends up being a only 3-point win. So on paper, it doesn't look like Iowa State dominated. But I mean, that game Iowa State controlled from basically most of the second half. It's just that run came a little bit too late. But I mean, with that, I think this is going to be fine. We're going to figure out in a couple weeks' time just like how legit this like Iowa State and Kansas are because I mean they're both like, legit. So
Mm-hmm.
it's going to work. The rankings are going to work themselves out. It's just a matter of controlling your own destiny, and certainly that's the case for Kansas, Iowa State, Houston, Arizona, like everybody. Like that's just what I think the main focus should be for these teams. Is just control what you can control. The rankings will fall however they will. It's just a matter of what you do on the court.
Completely agree. And with that, we're going to go right into our Baylor reaction. Cody, I guess how was the atmosphere for the whiteout? I wasn't there. Give the fans like the people that weren't there. Give like a synopsis of what the atmosphere was like at Hilton.
I mean, it was pretty packed. I mean, the whiteout. I mean, almost everybody wore white, so they did a good job on that. The atmosphere itself, it was disappointing. I felt underwhelmed.
Yeah,
Part of it has to do with the fact that like you weren't even able to fill up the student section, which I think was so dumb, considering this is a Saturday like afternoon game, which I think is the perfect time to go to a basketball game because the Super Bowl was the next day, and it's not like you're doing anything crazy on like Saturday. The only thing I can even think of is like you drank way too much, like you got too crazy on FACs on Welch Avenue, but still, it was disappointing to see part of the student section empty, and that kind of translated to like kind of the energy that came off from like the crowd as a whole, because it just there was never a point where like Hilton truly felt like Hilton, and this analogy goes well. Like a lot of Iowa State fans will say this, an angry Hilton's the best Hilton, and it outside of like spurts, it never felt like it was sustained. And oftentimes, I want to get like to put Allen Fieldhouse and Hilton Coliseum on the same level, at least in the Big 12. But there's starting to be that separation of it, and it's because Kansas does things that Iowa State just simply doesn't do. And one of the main like criticism I have is kind of like the music selection and like the timing of it, like that part of it, because it to me the music's like I love the band, I love the Pep Band for like what they bring, but it just feels like it's the timing. It's all about timing, and I feel like they come in at like the wrong time and kind of kill the
yeah,
momentum, kill like the energy with like the songs from like the '90s. It,
yeah.
I feel like I feel like there should be like less of the band. It was like, and obviously advertisement as well. And I know we got to pay the bills and whatnot, but there can be better ways to really get the atmosphere going. And number one, it's got to start with like kind of the game day experience that comes out from like the staff, like from the game day staff, like the music choice. Dear goodness, like I remember, like I instantly remember Kansas. Like they played like I think they went on like a big run, one of the bigger like in the game against us because that's the memory. And then we call a timeout, and everybody in that building is going crazy. I think they played at the Hum or something, so like really high energy music, and then they sustained it throughout the entire game. So I think it's yeah, the music selection's just got to be better because like even when like I knew instantly the moment that they were playing like Meek Mill and stuff against us, I was like, yeah, this is gonna be a really fun atmosphere, but it also means bad things for Iowa State because we're about to get mastered with what exactly happened, and the crowd was into it the entire game. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just I do wish like the music choice was like better and maybe less tap band because it comes in at the wrong time. It's just timing and all these things. So I think I saw like I was in a chat and I'm like one thing I think we need to like implement is more rap music, more like music that gets you hyped. So
that's basketball culture right there. Like,
I mean,
hip hop is
yeah,
essential. I know like a lot of our families probably don't like hip hop, but I
this
mean
is
that's a part of basketball.
yeah, this is basketball we're talking about. Like, I should be able to go to a basketball game and the energy be sustained the entire time. And this
Mm-hmm.
comes into my second part where it's like the student section. Like I know obviously me and my friends like we're doing our part, but it just feels like the rest like just don't bring like that same energy. And part of it is having it empty. So one proposal, and I don't know if Iowa State will ever do this, is like kind of like change the student section lining out like the seating chart because obviously we still have like the two like behind the baskets, but I don't know if this will happen. But I would love to like move some of the student like maybe reduce the student section and move like the people in the upper deck down to like where the opposite of like the bench, like where like in the lower bowls. So to kind of have
So
that.
we're yeah.
So where like you like where the opposing team enters so their tunnel,
Mm-hmm.
you put it on that side, and
Yeah.
like you make Holden Coliseum like a like violent and not a physical way, but like kind of in just a way where it's
No,
like
and like yeah, no.
the
It's
way
an
where
atmosphere
like
you want to
you walk,
violate.
yeah, you walk in here, you're not like it's gonna be very difficult. Like we're making it as difficult as possible for you to win. You're not winning in this building. That's just what it is. So
Either that or like how it was when I was there like a decade ago,
oh yeah, when they had it
where
like
like
very like compressed and like you're basically like right on the court.
it was an intimate setting and you could feel the energy.
Yeah, and that's the
Like,
thing. I go back and to watch like the Monte Morris, George
mm-hmm.
Niang like that era of Iowa State basketball, and like the energy in that sustained throughout the entire game. And I look
I
at it
mean,
now, it's like, dang. And I was
yeah.
listening to, I think I was listening to Iowa Everywhere or something, and there was like, so I think Jake Brent shared like an opinion that another good friend that I know, another good psychofanatic person I know, Jackie Cordova, she shared like the atmosphere is too family friendly. Like it feels
It is.
too like if it like. And then I was talking with like someone who when I was listening to Psycho Fanatic After Dark, Tom Turner, who works with the video production team. He noted that like it's very scripted. Like it feels overly scripted to be family friendly. So that's just what it is. So I really want like just that atmosphere to like feel like I wanted to get back to like the levels because obviously the atmosphere is going to get up for big games like Kansas and Houston, but I want that to be sustained for the entire game and for
Mm-hmm.
every other game. Like for any game that's at home Coliseum, I wanted to just be like some of the best, like and just energetic the entire game. So that's something.
Unfortunately, when you have a game like that, you know there's going to be like a lot of like families and stuff out. But you also got to know that like now we're getting into these bigger games, so
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna need everybody, man, woman, child, college student. Y'all need to go crazy.
The old timers, like the old timers who know about like obviously being there for Johnny Orr, and then you got the your age who knew
Mm-hmm.
about Fred Hoiberg. Need that energy, and I'm just like, man, if only, see that's to be the next key to like how you can unlock Iowa State to be even better. Hill's already a top 10, but you make it a top 5 by adding like that stuff. So
That's what I'm saying. Because you get up there with the
Allen
assembly
Field,
halls,
yeah,
on the field
the
house,
Dean,
Cameron Indoor, the Dean, all those iconic arenas. Like you can get to that if you consistently are that.
exactly. So yeah, this point with the atmosphere, but I mean that's this is just a whole tangent. I love how we're like going off, but like now that like and now we can like kind of segue to the game itself.
Yeah.
It was this was actually it was probably a very entertaining. Like this was actually pretty entertaining, even though the atmosphere wasn't as fun. But this was back and forth, and I kind of figured that this was going to be a little bit more back and forth because I was like Scott Drew, like he knows how to coach against Iowa. Like he's a great coach. He's going to get his guys up for it, and then I know, and somebody noted like of any team that could give Iowa State issues, it was this team because it's the length that Baylor has that caused us
Mm-hmm.
issues. The things we were doing in like the last 4 games prior to this, we weren't really able to do, and part of that was that athleticism, the length that Baylor has. So Iowa State wins the game 72-69. The score is a little bit deceiving because Iowa State had it in control for the most part. One guy that did give us issues was Cameron Carr, and we talked about it before the
Man,
game on Friday. It felt like that first half, that dude could not miss from 3.
he was hitting everything. I'm like, what? Like so the thing is like I knew the way he was shooting it wasn't sustainable, and I was like, man, this isn't sustainable. He was still hitting those threes, and they were contested. Some of them were contested threes too, and
Yeah,
he was draining him and Yesufu. I'm like, dude, what is going on?
yeah. And like it's just like, what do you do when like they're just making shots that like you don't ever like expect anyone to make and whatnot? It's like
Right.
these shots that are like lower pro like I even remember number 5 had like, so it was like right as a shot clock, guy just chucks it up off the backboard and it just goes in. I'm like, what do you do? He's like, that's about as good at like, and I think we had 2 players that were just right in his face with their hand up. I'm like, what are you supposed to do at that point?
I was wondering the same thing. I was like, what do you even do? Like, I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, so I mean, Baylor came out to play, and I mean they have been playing better too because they had won 2 straight. They had
Yeah.
one in Morgantown, and then they had like taken care of Colorado, so they did have a little bit of momentum on it. So they were playing better, and it clearly showed in this game. Baylor did whatever, like Cameron Carr, Yesufu, and OG Agbim did what they could to keep this game close, but it just wasn't enough. And I mean, the shooting, like, tell me that like who would win? Who would win? So you have Team A who goes 6 to 21 from 3, turns the ball over 14 times. It goes 12 of 19 from the free throw line. So that's Team A. Team B goes 11 to 30. They hit 11 threes. They only turn the ball over 9 times, and they get 10 steals.
Most of the time, it'd be Team A that wins.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that actually would be Iowa State.
Sorry, Team B. My
Yeah,
bad. So
Team B. But yeah, Team A was Iowa State, Team B was Baylor. And one of the big reasons why I think Iowa State was able to win this game is the offensive rebounding. They got 14 offensive boards in this game. And that's attributing to the hustle of like Taman Lipsey. Because there was a stretch within 2 to 3 minutes where that man could not be stopped at getting offensive boards. I remember vividly, like instantly, where he misses the free throw, and that's obviously an issue that Iowa State has, and that needs to be fixed. But again, in this conversation, it's Taman Lipsey misses a free throw. He gets his own rebound. He finds Mila Momcilovic, who in this game had been. This is probably one of his like worst games shooting from 3 in about a month, and we're saying that for a guy who shot two of 6, and that just shows you the high level of shooting that Milan has from 3. But Milan has a good look. He misses that. It bounces off, and Taman Lipsey literally runs from one wing to the other to get another offensive rebound, to get a third chance opportunity. And obviously, we weren't able to score. And I mean, that was part of like because Jefferson, he was driving, he just lost the basketball. But and then a little bit later on, or maybe a little bit before, there's a loose ball on the ground, and Taman Lipsey just dives. And I saw the photo of like from No Context college basketball. It literally looked like Taman Lipsey was doing the plank challenge from like 2011.
It was insane.
Yeah,
I think he was one of the main reasons why that we won that game because
yeah,
a lot of those hustle plays, if we didn't get those, man, those would have been a lot of wasted possessions. And we probably would have lost. But like, I mean, Blake Buchanan had a nice little putback dunk in the second half, which was absolutely beautiful. Um, Obviously Milan, like you said, he struggled from 3. But one thing I'll say about Milan is that Milan is at a point in his game to where he was able to score inside, and it was really really nice to see his game evolve. Because
mm-hmm.
obviously, if this was last year, he probably would have only had like 8 or 9 points. But being able to improve in this inside game, and be able to drive the basket, um, it was beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that goes into credit the strength because freshman Milan would never be able to do that. He would not have the
But
base
yeah,
that he does now. So put on the muscle. So that goes credit to Pete Link and the strength staff for being able to build that base. And yeah, he can now score at all 3 levels. I mean, he was cutting to the basket, he was getting to the free throw line, and he was perfect from the free throw line, 7 of 7. And he also attributed 5 rebounds. So, and then this Nate Heisey, something about February Nate Heisey. He like comes into the game 2 of 4 from 3, 3 of 5 from the field, and he had 2 rebounds and an assist and a steal. But man, he he did such a good job. I don't remember who was he matched up against, but whoever he matched up against, they had a much more difficult time,
Mm-hmm.
like being able to really execute and make a difference in the game. So Nate Heise continues to just play like he's the crazy like role playing. He's the role playing white boy. That's
Yes,
literally Nate Heise. You always got to have that. The key to every successful, like to every like high level basketball team, is you just got to have a crazy role playing white boy. And that I mean, here's like, and literally one of the plays, he literally just takes he took an elbow to the chin. It was a cross check like his sister would have in hockey, and he's like, I was surprised they didn't call that. But I'm like, oh, and he's like, all right, whatever. And then he still balls out. So I'm like, he's like, that is what I just like. This is why I think Nate Heise is just he's underappreciated for like what he brings to the table.
he definitely did. And then you have Jameer Pittman bring on some good minutes. 1 of 3 from three, and then Dominica's played had a nice basket in the second half, 2 points, 3 rebounds.
Yeah,
So like obviously there were like a lot of people who were like upset about this performance. Like for you, like what do you chalk this up to? Because I think for me, like I don't think this team lost its edge. I just think this is just a team coming off being off for a straight week and they came out resty.
yeah, and I mean you could tell. I think like in the first 5 minutes of the game, like you could tell they were just coming off a week of rest, and then it's just seeing like a Jefferson. I think he started out like his first half wasn't great. He didn't have a great first half,
Not at
but
all.
he was able to figure out in the second half and still put up 15 points and 5 rebounds and 4 assists. So he was able to find his groove. Yeah, I think I think we needed it. I think this was like a needed thing, and yeah, I was like, they're coming off a week of rest, and like obviously, it's kind of weird how like seeing like how the week of rest does like and like how we react to it. It's like we will talk like, well, what will be the type of fans who like said like they need rest, and then when they do get rest and they're playing the first game out of it, we're like, what are we doing? Like we should
Right.
not be acting this rusty. And I think there is some truth to it, but also it's like I think it's a little bit of an over exaggeration. But
No, I
but it's
agree.
like what like I'm not surprised. This is just how it is. But I mean, yeah, I think the rest came out at a perfect time because yeah, now we've got obviously a big gauntlet ahead of us. Like this overall, this came at a perfect time. I think the team was refreshed by it, and yeah, I think this is definitely like you take this win. You're 21-2. You're top 5 in the country. There's not really too much.
It's really and really the stuff that like every show and us what we're talking about is really just nitpicky stuff
Yeah,
that can be
and I
fixed.
mean it's these are. I mean, yeah, the big nitpick being that Milan's only shot 33% from three today. I'm like, yeah, this is a good problem. And what's
Right,
dropped
it's a
is
good problem.
it dropped his 3-point percentage to 53%.
Right. So
So yeah,
like we'll be
but
fine.
okay, one thing I need to mention is like so during one of the commercial like breaks, the Big 12 did like a thing for media is asking like the players like what was their favorite off-season activity. They get to Taman Lipsey. They asked him his favorite off-season activity and or favorite thing he did in the offseason. And Taman Lipsey answers like playing golf with the boys, and he's a good golfer. But everybody in that building obviously knew what his favorite the favorite thing he did. And then he's like, it was like a trick question. He's like, oh yeah, let me correct my answer. He was getting married, just like married over the summer, and I was like, I was dying. And then like after the game, I go like on social media and I just see his wife Samantha TikTok. It has a video of them watching it. They were dying of laughter, and then and then it's just him listening. I hope my wife doesn't see this. And I think they were just dying of laughter at it. So that was kind of funny to watch. And
That's
my
hilarious.
question is, I would love to just be curious with Taylor Lisley. Did he get put in the doghouse for not saying it was the wedding?
Probably.
That man,
Probably.
he probably was sleeping on the couch that night. We'll just allegedly, but we'll never know unless I ask him and he like answers it, like he's willing to answer it. But that was just kind of funny. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, we're gonna close that chapter, and we have also because we have a game on Tuesday, so we are going to take a deep dive into the TCU Horned Frogs.
TCU.
Obviously, as you know, Cody, in this game specifically, we have seen boys grow into men. Like we've seen we've seen the emergence of players in this game specifically. I don't know why, but it this game has always catapulted us into like a higher level than we've ever played before. So I guess what are some of the key matchups that you're looking at? Obviously, we're going to go into Evan Maya analytics. Thank you for your contributions, Evan Maya.
I gotta say, like number one, I'm definitely looking forward to like whoever, like I'm guessing it's gonna be Josh Jefferson matches up against Xavier Edmonds. You've got the former Iowa Hawkeye Brock Harding. I'm going to get he's gonna be familiar with Iowa State. David Punch, another forward. Michael Robinson would be another guy to look out for. Yeah, and then I think let me see. Yeah, I'm taking a look on ESPN stats. And I mean, yeah, David Punch, Brock Harding, Xavier Edmonds, and let's see, Jaden Pierre. Those are some guys I look to as like who can do significant, who can play significant minutes for
Yeah,
TCU and get them significant production. But but it's hard to read this TCU team because it's like you don't know what you're gonna get out of TCU. Because
yeah,
I'm looking at I'm looking at like their schedule as a whole, and they have solid wins, but they don't have that marquee win. Like this TCU team is the same team who competed against Michigan and almost beat them, and we now know what Michigan looks like. So there's that. They also were on the verge of beating Kansas at Allen Fieldhouse until that game went to overtime, and they beat Baylor twice. They got a win over Florida, um, and Wisconsin. But they also have losses to New Orleans, which was on opening day of the season.
that was very bad. That was a very bad loss.
Yeah, they lost at Utah, and then they got blown out in Boulder by Colorado. So I don't know where to even like go with this team. Like I can't. It's hard for me to figure out how do I even start like talking to like figuring out like where to get a read on this team.
Yeah, I mean, you look at their defensive efficiency numbers the past 3 games, and that's really, really bad.
Yeah, it's been like it's very like back and forth. I mean, I'm even looking at the offensive consistency because they're like I'm looking at Kansas State 118, but at Colorado it was 84. Baylor
Yeah,
Baylor is 121, and then it drops to 195 or 95. Granted, you're going against Houston, so I'm not surprised. And then but I look at Arizona. They went from 115 to 95.
right.
So it's hard for me to really get a read on this. So I can't. As much as I'm trying to think about like potential matchups, it's hard for me because like, I don't know. This is like one of those like patented like trap games that like like Iowa State has found themselves in, and they could lose. In years past, Iowa State's lost some weird trap games.
Yeah, I think with this team, they're less likely to. Well, obviously, not say less likely because they dropped one to Cincinnati. So obviously,
Well, I
if
think
they really don't
that
come
Cincinnati
in,
game is truly a fluke. I think that's true.
I agree.
Yeah, because I truly think that game was a fluke. Because that was when I mean that thing was like a further thing. It's like because at that point Iowa State hadn't been playing as well as they had in like the past couple of weeks. So I'm gonna chalk it up to that. It's like it's just what happens when like you play with fire too much and you finally get burned. Because we had been doing
Good
that.
point.
Yeah, because we had not
Yeah,
been
you're
winning
right.
convincingly at the beginning of the season. Then Kansas and Cincinnati come around and they expose like it's kind of our flaws.
Definitely. So obviously we have the top lines right here, and it really shows uh, the efficiency numbers based on by possessions and raw offensive efficiency and raw defensive efficiency. Obviously, you see the 5-man rotation of Edmonds, Brock Harding, Lataris, Lulavicious, um, Jaden Pierre and David Punch, which would be, and their margin is the biggest win all five of them are in, and that's based off of 276 possessions.
Yeah.
So I mean, that top five that I just named off right there is probably what we're gonna be seeing on Tuesday in Fort Worth.
Yeah. And then I'm taking a look at like their last game. TCU, boy oh boy, they got absolutely demolished to start that game. So this is the game against Kansas State. This was a must win for both teams, and Kansas State came out like they played desperate. Like
They sure did.
they sure did. And it was like it got to a point where Kansas State had like an 18-point lead with 6 minutes to go in the first half. TCU was able to chip away at it and make it only a 4-point game at about halftime. And I mean, they kept it like close for a bit, and then Kansas State was like, they had a double-digit lead with about 5 minutes to go in that game. But man, oh man, TCU needed like everything to they needed Kansas State to ultimately choke that game away. Basically, Kansas State kind of tripped them themselves way too many times in that game. So, and I mean, TCU did win against Kansas State, but man, it was looking ugly in the first 10 minutes or so. But I mean, you get down 18 against a better team, like a way better team, you don't come back from that off. You rarely come back from that. So the fact that TCU got pummeled in the first half by Kansas State, who was a team that Iowa State absolutely pummeled in their building, I'm thinking like if Iowa State's able to get back to what they were doing against UCF, Oklahoma State, Colorado, like in Kansas State, and get off to like that hot start, this game is going to be a bloodbath. This is going to be a bloodbath in Fort Worth.
Yeah. So with that, obviously, we talked about the matchups going into this game. Right now, we're gonna move into our three keys to win. So, Cody, what is it gonna take for Iowa State to keep their streak alive?
First off, this is a kind of game where like this is going to be the overarching key. Do not let TCU hang around, because we saw what happened when they were able to hang around against Kansas State. Cut the lead down to 4 after like that horrible start for them. You let TCU hang around there because this is a top 5 Iowa State team. If you let them hang around and give them hope, they can't find a way to win. And Iowa State has been on the bad end of it. I think we saw literally like you mentioned Cincinnati. We saw what happened there. So the big overarching thing is do not let TCU hang around. And that starts by cleaning up the glass. Those offensive rebound numbers that Iowa State had against Baylor, that helped us win. And I think that's going to be a big thing that I need to see out of Iowa State is still continue to be the more physical team on the glass. Number 2, the ball movement. That's going to be another thing that continues. Can't really get into ice ball because some of the way of Iowa State's turned the ball over is guys trying to do too much. That just would come down to Jefferson, for example, during the Kansas game. He was trying to do too much, and the confidence was there. And as a result, the whole team didn't feel confident. They turned the ball over. They second-guessed things, and it led to those 2 losses. So just the ball movement and getting guys involved early will be key. And number 3, I trust Milan is going to probably get back to his shooting. It'll be fine. I think I'm assuming this is just going to be a one-off game like that. It's going to be a one-off because Baylor, they have the length to limit Milan from the 3-point line. I don't know. I don't think TCU has that same length and athleticism. There's not many teams that can match the length that Baylor does. So quite frankly, I think Milan's going to get back to his normal shooting. But I'm going to add a bonus key. Somebody on this team is going to emerge as a key piece. They're going to emerge as a breakout. We've seen it multiple times in the T.J. Altenberger era. It was weird things have happened in favor of Iowa State, and particularly against TCU and Fort Worth. Whether it was Gabe Callister just going off hitting that game-winning 3, or it was the Keyshawn Gilbert Curtis Jones breakout game for them. So if there's somebody that I think is gonna because I mean here's the thing. Iowa State's bench is already a well-known commodity, but this could be a kind of game where maybe Jamarian Bateman just he just lights it up. Let's say maybe like
That's my pick to be the guy who emerges as
yeah,
Jalen Bateman.
yeah, or who knows? Maybe Killian Torrey finds his offense again and he puts up like 15, 18 to like 18 points.
That'd be nice. All right. So here are my first or my three keys for this game. Eliminate. Do not give them hope. Obviously, we saw what happens when you gave Baylor hope in this game, and they stuck around the entire daggone game. So do not give them hope. Eliminate hope in the first few minutes after the first under four timeout. Um, Number two is play with focus and precision. The ball movement has been pretty good these last 4 or 5 games. Obviously, with the exception of this game, but go back to going back to the basics and playing with that ball movement that you were before in these last few games. And third, get the job done. Um, so obviously you want to get this done, and no looking ahead because obviously everybody knows we have a game on Saturday against KU, but control what you can control and focus on the task at hand.
Yeah. Something that's like weird is like now I think this is like freshly obviously they're fresh like we still have this thought because this was like a month ago. Iowa State was in the top 5 and they get blown out at Kansas and then they lose the game in Cincinnati. And I've seen some people like a little concerned that we are ranked top 5 and they think we're going to be complacent. I don't think that this team would get that complacent again. Like I don't think so. There's no reason
TJ's not gonna let them do that again.
No. Like I think TJ was definitely like kind of like I knew he was feeling a little bit of ways like of like Iowa State like losing its intensity in the last 3 minutes. But I mean, the guys they probably know that too. They know that too. They're gonna find a way to iron that out.
No,
And really,
they'll find a way to iron that, dude. That's something that's not gonna happen again.
yeah. So I think that's just what it is. So yeah, not yeah.
All right, and
oh yeah, like I kind of envision this like you basically like this. You just imagine like this matchup is just gonna be yeah. So we're going to our like score predictions and whatnot. Sorry, like that was not a smooth way to transition it, but I just
no, you're good.
But like I kind of continue my thinking. Like if I talk about like knocking them out in the first like 10 minutes of the game, yeah, you're basically like that's what comes down to. This is the team that you are better than. You're more talented. I think you're better coached than. Better coaching. You go out like here and you just turn their building into a library in the first 10 minutes. That's what you just got to do. You just got to be on them from the jump and you just got to break their will in the first 10 minutes. Whether it's you just actually crashing the glass, you keep the ball moving, go to get the free throw line, and then maybe you get some people in foul trouble early because that'd be a bonus. So I'm thinking for this is the way and it also depends on what TCU you get, but TCU's familiar. Like they did play Houston close, so I think that can have. But I think Iowa State I'm gonna guess they'll find a way to win this game. They're gonna go on a run in the second half and then never look back. Would be my guess. So I would guess Iowa State probably wins this like 82 to 68. Would be my guess.
82-68.
Yeah.
I have the Cyclones winning. I have them winning like 75 to 59.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. I think they easily cover. But
yeah.
We obviously that was your game preview, but now Cody, we're gonna take a look across the Big 12 and nationally because there were some good games. Obviously, I want to get into the national slate, but let's first get into what happened in the Big 12.
Yeah, we have a little bit of a shakeup, I'd say, in the Big 12. Yeah, so on Saturday, mentioned Iowa State going up against Baylor. But first, Arizona you talk about an ass whooping. Now, this was just literally like Arizona, just envision. You already beat envision the UFC, but without the stoppage rule. That's what Arizona did to Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I mean, there was a time in this game where it was 25-18, and um,
Yeah.
I mean, Oklahoma State was getting quality shots. It's
Mm-hmm.
just they weren't able to knock them down, and they ended up just getting rolled by 37 at the McHale Center.
Yeah. So yeah, Oklahoma State. Yeah, they scored 47 points in this game. What's crazy is this entire scoring output for Oklahoma State was less than the amount of points they scored against BYU in the second half.
Oh
That's
man,
definitely a low key a shot at BYU, but still, that I think this just shows like Arizona they just continue to be a wagon, and it was like balanced scoring across the board for Arizona. You had Braden Burries with 15, Koa Pete with 11, Jaden Bradley with 13, yes, Krivas with 10, Anthony Delorso with 11, and Toby Owaka with 8. Like, this thing essentially turned into just like trials because Arizona literally emptied the bench. I'm looking at the amount of players they played.
they got everybody in there.
Yeah, everyone. I felt like at some point you could probably pull somebody that was on the intramural team, and they'd be like, "Hey, you just want to suit up for a game at McHale?" That's basically what this was at that point.
And
And
the fact that this isn't a conference game is even makes it
yeah,
even worse.
and what's crazier is that Arizona didn't even shoot that well from three. They shot horrible from there. Only 2 of 14. And then they only shot like 64% from the free throw line. Yeah. But Oklahoma State just couldn't buy a bucket.
Yeah, so Arizona has a really strong inside presence, but they're not good at shooting the three. So that's definitely going to be something I'm going to be paying attention to when we play them in like 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah. Turnovers were they were pretty equal. But yeah, I'm looking at but the points off turnovers were key because Arizona was able to like clamp down after they turned the ball over versus Oklahoma State. Arizona scored 16 points off of 12 turnovers versus 4 for Oklahoma State. So Arizona was able to capitalize on turning Oklahoma State over massively. So overall, this was just this was a bloodbath, and Arizona continues to just be the number 1 team. So
Yep. And we go on to the nightcap game. Big 12 after dark. Houston survived on the road as Houston wins 77-66 over BYU.
yeah, in the battle of the Cougars after dark. This one I somehow was able to stay up for because this thing was this was certainly a back and forth game. This was just like this was an underrated like freshman matchup between AJ DeBansta and Kingston Flemings, and there were points in time where like Houston had pretty much had this game on control for the most part, but BYU they actually showed fight in the first half. They didn't just basically like lay over and die in the first, and then like try to crawl back late in the second. They actually did like they were actually competitive in the first half. Houston just got out to a big run, but again BYU was able to compete. And part of that, I mean, was AJ DeBansta continues to just light up the scoreboard. 28 points, 7 of 12 from the free throw line. And then you also had Robert Wright the third with 17 points off of 3 of 3 from 3. But man, this was just a bad game for Richie Saunders. He could not get going on offense. Like,
Yeah.
he shot 1 of 6 from 3. He only had 7 points in the game. And I think part of that too is Houston's defense. And I mean, it's just the BYU, it's just the way they play ball is like it doesn't just shake me. I don't fear it. It's just like outside of the big 3, you don't have that like consistency. And I think we talked about this when we were talking about like BYU and some of the concerns we have for them was they didn't have a Dalen Hall. They didn't have that kind of player this year. And the post presence wasn't really there for them as well. I mean, Houston's like post presence was key. Like they just got like second chance points all over the place. I mean, looking at it, and also you had like Chris Senick. He had a pretty nice game. 16 points, a little over 50% of shooting. JoJo Tugler, 10.6 rebounds. Emmanuel Sharp, not particularly like his best game shooting, but he still went 50%. Had 14 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists. And then Khalifa Sakho had 7 points off the bench. So this was just one where Houston had it. BYU tried to fight, and when BYU got close, Houston was just able to do something and just push like BYU back, like to an arm's length.
Nice. All right, we're gonna go and move on to the next result. More, and it's just like Devonta once again goes off for 28 points, but to no avail. As he basically is producing in losses now.
Wait. Oh, you're talking Kansas?
Yeah, no, I'm talking about AJ Devonta just coming up
Oh,
big in a losing effort once again.
yeah. That's the problem. Is like it's the play style. It's just not what it doesn't just like this BYU team should be better than they are, but it's just because they don't have like a consistent third or fourth option. Well, even their second option, Richie Saunders, isn't even that consistent. So it's like, where do you even go if you're BYU?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
that's the thing they have to figure out.
It's a thing they have to figure out unless they want to continue on this losing streak.
All right.
We're waiting for this pace to load, but Arizona,
Oh no,
not Arizona,
Utah.
Utah goes on the road to KU and gets beat by 12,
Yep.
71-59. This score is sort of deceiving because Utah hung in there. I mean, you look at the game probability chart right here. You see they were within 4 in the first half. Um, um, Near the beginning of the second half is when KU started to pull away, and even then, like it was near like the after the first 4 timeout where KU just started to pull away. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they were like Keanu Dawes, 22 points for him. So he basically like was like the guy who was doing everything he could to give Utah a chance in this game. Yeah, there was also 16 points from Terrence Brown and Dominic Henry with 12. So they were definitely competitive, but Kansas was just able to just like put the pillow on them and just like suffocate them like in that like second half. Just got out to a double digit lead, never looked back in this game. So yeah, this certainly was like yeah, that score is a little deceiving. Yeah, because Utah would kept it competitive, and I mean, both Kansas and Iowa State kind of felt that. So, and I don't know, maybe Kansas might have been looking ahead to Big Monday, but still, you win double digits. I think you were fine. I think Kansas is fine, and they're all wagon. What is it, 7 straight now for the Jayhawks? Yeah, and I mean, I got to highlight Floyd Badunga, 17 points and 10 rebounds. So he's emerged as like a great
7
big.
blocks, good lord.
Yeah, that man. Yeah, his development in the past year. When I remember watching him like as a freshman last year, he did not look like he didn't really belong in the court, but now he looks like he does, and he's thriving.
Sure is.
Melvin Council Jr. with 11 points, Trey White with 16 points, and Darren Peterson with 14. And yeah, but I look at so this is something that I think has been brought up about Kansas. You have a great bench, and I think this has always just been the DNA of Kansas for at least the last few years. You always have a great starting five, but that bench is like if it's iffy at best. And I kind of look at like the five for Badunga. Who do you have as a second option outside of Floyd Badunga? Because
I
what
mean,
because what happens when Floyd Badunga gets in foul trouble? Where do you go?
man, very good question. Because look at the guys on the bench right here, and I don't know what you do.
Yeah, like you just don't have that like second option at the five. So that's something I think teams maybe take note of at some point. It's like you attack Floyd Badunga, you get him in foul trouble. You might be able like that's a potential weakness that somebody like that's talented enough and has the bodies for. They could exploit that.
And I'm pretty sure that's probably what Arizona's going to be doing tonight. And KU is just trying like, oh yeah, we need to get number 40 in the foul trouble. And then what I would be doing is zeroing in on Melvin Council Jr. because that's that when Darren Peterson is out or he's struggling, Melvin Council is the guy that they turn to.
Yeah.
But who knows? But Bryson Tiller could be a guy who went off in the BYU game. He could be a guy that could be the difference maker.
Yeah.
So should be interesting to see. It's definitely going to be a battle of which because Arizona has an elite starting five.
Yeah, you forgot to mention Trey White. He went off against us.
Yeah, it's an embarrassment of riches that they have.
Yeah. So that. Yeah, so that's pretty much so Kansas will be I'll definitely be tuning to Big Monday. I'm excited for that. So
same here.
We already talked about this a little bit earlier. TCU wins 84-82. TCU came back being down 18 in the first half, and boy oh boy.
My goodness.
As if it couldn't get any worse for Kansas State.
Look. This this win probability chart is insane.
Look at this. It was.
They were up 40-22 at one point.
And
unbelievable.
I don't know. And then the thing is, they had that with 5 minutes to go, and then it gets cut down to only a 4-point lead. So maybe the alarm bells were ringing. Then it's like, okay, whoa, what happened here? But then you go back, and Kansas State again, they were able to get a double-digit lead with 5.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, we're gonna go to that right now. Boom.
Yeah, I mean, goodness, what? This was a choke job of choke jobs if I've ever seen one. And the play that just epitomizes it to me is TCU up 1. Kansas State inbounds the ball. I think it was I don't remember who the big was, but you had PJ Haggerty. They tried to hand the ball to PJ Haggerty, but it literally was right in the two defenders and the side in the sideline. And I was just you have 6 seconds to go. You're down 1, and you try to hand the ball off in basically the coffin corner. What are we doing?
I don't even know, man. This team has checked out. It's absolutely insane to me how incompetent this basketball team is.
I haven't seen the press conference. I would love to listen to the post game press conference. I'm guaranteeing there's some gold in that press conference.
Oh, for sure.
Yep.
Man, yeah. So enough about that game. There are some other games and some other shocking results.
But real quick, Colorado wins 78-70 over Arizona State. Yeah, that's I think all we need to say. In a battle of who's going to get fired first, I think it's safe to say it's going to be Bobby Hurley. No, it's going to be a race who gets fired first. Who's going to get fired first? Bobby Hurley, Jerome Tang, or we'll talk about this real quick, Wes Miller. But I mean, hey, speaking of Wes Miller, Cincinnati, they win by 20 against UCF.
What?
Yeah. This loss, if you're UCF, you have to be kicking yourself because
this is a bad loss. Wow.
Oh yeah. Okay. You want to know what the story? Take a look at Cincinnati's scoring. Take a look at their shooting. I think that'll tell you a story.
Okay.
You know how Cincinnati was shooting ungodly?
Holy crap!
Look at that 3-point percentage.
61%. What? Oh wait, let me look at the box score. What?
Yeah. Us Iowa State fans, we were mad because Cincinnati decided to finally show up against us and shoot what they did against us. But this has to be even worse. This has to be more of a demoralizing. I'm glad we didn't get this. I would have been mad. I would have been even more pissed if this happened to us.
Everybody scored in double figures. Stop and Tom had 15 and 7.
Baba Miller with a double-double, 17 points and 10 rebounds.
Oh my gosh,
Hey,
bro.
Jizzle James, son of Edwin James, with 15 points. He went 3 of 5 from the perimeter. A.J. Thomas with 11 points. And then Jalen Christine, he went perfect. Celestine, excuse me. He went perfect from 3 and 5 of 6 from the field for 14 points. You even have Sen Christ, Sensier Harris and Jordy Rodriguez make a 3 off the bench.
I am puzzled by this result, man. I don't, man.
If you're a UCF, what do you even do? Like, what do you even do?
Dude, I don't know. This is probably one of the most surprising / puzzling losses that I've seen in the Big 12 this year.
Yeah. Hey, like, listen, it was one thing for me to like be like shocked that like Cincinnati like shot the way they did against us, but it's another to see this. And I'm glad we weren't the
Right?
ones that received this. I'm glad we weren't the ones that received this because Iowa State like fans, we would have been like they basically might have turned into Visha if this happened.
Dude, yeah. I wouldn't I'd be in a bad headspace if that's what happened.
Oh yeah, like I was at my house. And, like if I saw that, I would have probably needed to just take a drive out. Like the things I would have said or done. I don't want that to happen in my house. So. Anyways, and then then the other Big 12 game from that shocking result to what was surprisingly a much closer game than I think a lot of people expected. Texas Tech goes on the road to Morgantown and wins 70-63. This
Yeah.
man, this was much more this got more competitive than I thought it would have been. I would have thought maybe Texas Tech, because this was coming off the loss to Kansas. I would have thought, but maybe that's what it was. Maybe it's the fact that like Texas Tech came off a loss to Kansas at home when they could have, which I think they definitely had the game in hand, and then Darren Peterson happened. So maybe they're feeling a bit of a hangover from that, and that kind of was what we saw in this game, at least for the first few minutes. But Texas Tech, they were able to build up like a pretty sizable lead. I think, they got up double digits, they got up to double digits. And I mean, up until 4.5 minutes to go in that game, I thought maybe Texas Tech would have been able to take care of business and cruise to a double-digit win. But no, here comes West Virginia. And if we got to talk, I think it was Honor. Well, no, Brendan Lorient. It wasn't even Honor Huff. It was Brendan Lorient, Jasper Floyd, and Chance Moore.
Yeah. I mean, you think it'd be Hunter, huh? Brendan Lorient 21-5. You see Jasper Floyd 10-4, and then Harlan Obioha 9-7. So I mean, Honor Huff really. I mean, he contributed, but he wasn't the main point guy like we thought. Also, Chance Moore adding 10-6 off the bench.
Mm-hmm. So West Virginia, like I mean, they had that. Yeah, I think Honor Huff. This is a weird day. He went 0 of 8 from the field, 0 of 6 from 3, but went 6 of 6 from the free throw line. So yeah, I think.
And honestly, what tells the story, West Virginia went 2 of 22 from 3, 9% from 3.
Oof.
You're not going to win games when you shoot that disgusting of a percentage.
They could not buy a 3.
They sure couldn't. It was ugly.
But I mean, you know who did? Texas Tech. They went 13 of 24 from 3. You got, Donovan Atwell went 4 of 5 from 3. Christian Anderson, who missed the Kansas game due to sickness, he was back and he went 3 of 7 from 3. Jalen Petty 3 of 6, 1 of 2 for Lawan Watts, and then JT Toppin, the leading scorer for Texas Tech with 22 points. He went 2 of 4 from 3. So this basically was like a Golden Corral, like all you can eat for Texas Tech. Yeah, I mentioned 22 points JT Toppin, 15 for Donovan Atwell. Jalen Petty contributed 11 with Christian Anderson's 13. So that was an all you can eat for those 4.
Oh, for sure. A good win to keep Texas Tech within arm's length of the standings. We're gonna take a look at the standings real quick. I mean, obviously, there's still the 3 games back. Yeah,
but I think
and you look at the top 4 teams.
Mm-hmm. Arizona, they're going to get tested. They got to go to Kansas and Houston. I think maybe a lot of people are thinking they were going to split that. Who they win and lose to, that'll be determined. Houston 9-1, and then you have Iowa State and Kansas tied at 8-2. I personally would have Kansas above Iowa State because of the head-to-head. But they're going to play on
Right.
Saturday. They're going to play on Saturday, and we'll talk about that later in the week. And then Texas Tech is right there, 7-3. So maybe if one of those teams ahead of them slips up, they could get a top 4 seed in Kansas City and not play until the quarterfinals essentially.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great day in Big 12 hoops. Right now, we're gonna take a look into the top 25 because boy, oh boy, what a day in hoops it was on Saturday in the National League.
I think so. So for me, ESPN, we started the day off with number 18 Virginia going or hosting Syracuse and winning that game by 13. Virginia has been like some like I didn't know what to expect. Like I knew about Virginia, but man, they've been a pretty good team in the ACC. And apparently, I learned this recently. Virginia has Dalen Hall. That's what Dalen Hall went to in the portal.
Yes, he's been the steadying force in Charlottesville this year.
Mm-hmm.
And now Virginia is 9-2. Look at the standings right now. It is the cluster of the what's it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams. You see Duke at 10-1, Clemson at 10-1, Virginia at 9-2, NC State 9-2, North Carolina 7-3, Miami 7-3, and then you see Louisville going in there at 7-4. Like man, this is probably like a 6 big league. But man, you look at the ACC, potentially a 6 big league.
Yeah.
But like, look at the ACC; it's pretty competitive. A lot better than what I thought it would be.
Yeah, and yeah, obviously Clemson getting out to like Clemson has been like a kind of a sleeper. NC State, yeah, I didn't expect much out of it, especially after the non-con. But man, they put it on a pretty solid season. And I mean, back to Virginia,
Mm-hmm.
they've got some solid opportunities to really put themselves in the ACC. So they host Miami on the 21st, then they host NC State, and then on the 28th they got to go to Duke. So they got to go to Cameron Indoor. So that 3-game stretch is a pretty decent opportunity. But then they have winnable games against Florida State, Georgia Tech, Wake Forest, and Virginia Tech. And then they have the random non-con. I think they had a random non-con against Ohio State on February 14th. And I Bleav that's the Big Ten ACC Challenge.
Wait, yes, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So they've got a good opportunity to put themselves. So yeah, I mean, I think they are safe to say firmly in the tournament. Right now, it's just where are they going to land, and I think there was some I think I saw Bracketology have them in as maybe a 5 seed or something, but we'll figure that out.
Yeah.
But
a very, very good bounce back season for the Virginia Cavaliers.
Gonzaga, after taking the loss to Portland earlier in the week, they rebound with a 20-point win at Oregon State. Boy, oh boy. Let's just say a lot of people are they've realized that Gonzaga ain't exactly Gonzaga, just I don't know. There was a part of me that didn't understand why Gonzaga was continues to have been ranked higher than Iowa State, but I mean after this week, it's clear.
Yeah, definitely.
Nebraska,
the big point for them.
Yeah, Nebraska got a 12-point win at Rutgers, 80-68. Purdue, they hold off Oregon. Oregon gave Purdue a run.
Man, that
money.
Cody, I was looking at wait, Purdue is losing with a minute left it's losing at home to Oregon. I was like, oh boy.
Yeah, that was surprising. Oregon kept that game somehow competitive. They kept that game close. Purdue was just not never able to really get the kill shot and could really pull away. But yeah, the fact came down to that, I'm like, oh god, which kind of put some salt in the wound for us Iowa State fans because are you serious? This is worse than our win there. How in the world we're going in there and we waxed them and now they're doing this? I'm like, are you serious? If Purdue had to have lost to Oregon, I would be like, y'all serious?
Exactly.
But they just survived, so it is what it is. Oklahoma, they also survived. They got a major upset in Nashville as they took down number 15 Vanderbilt. At one point, Oklahoma, excuse me, I think they led by 20 points at some point.
They were up by a lot. Yeah, we're gonna look. Yeah, but they were up by 14
20.
at halftime. Yes, they were up by 20 at one point.
Yeah, so they had that, but Vanderbilt they stormed back late. They were able to just really claw their way back into this game, and I mean they were making shots late, and they had cut it to one. But I mean, this thing has just this is single handedly caused some chaos. This is like March come early.
Look at the SEC right now. Vanderbilt's only 2 games back, but the SEC is an absolute cluster. Florida getting a huge win in the College Station over Texas A&M, and Kentucky getting a huge win at home over
Oh,
Tennessee.
mm-hmm.
Man, now Kentucky is only a half game back of the Florida Gators, who are now leading the SEC.
Huh. Yeah, mention Florida. Yeah, they won 86-67. Thomas Howe with 22 points. Kentucky, 74-71. Otega Owe with 21 points. And then some other ranked matchups. Louisville won over Wake Forest 88-80. Miami of Ohio stays undefeated like Arizona. They won 90-74 over Marshall. Arkansas wins by 20 over Mississippi State. Yeah, you mentioned Clemson. They won by 22. Gotta shout out the Billikens of St. Louis. They are continue to roll. They won 82-58. And then these two games, these two games in the top 25. We gotta talk about how beautiful it is. We gotta start Illinois, Michigan State. Now
Oh man, what a game! Oh baby,
what a thing of beauty. This was. This thing was like I was seeded
man.
for this. Yep, I was
It
seeded
was
for
it was
this.
it was a beautiful game to watch, man.
Yeah. This is what I want out of primetime hoops, and this is the feeling because this was going to be definitely one of the marquee games of and this had huge implications for the Big Ten standings. I think the biggest thing was Jeremy Fears 26 points and 15 assists.
What a game by him! He came up big at the end. Cody, he made clutch free throws at the end. I think he's a 90-something% free throw shooter.
Yep.
My goodness.
Yeah, and Jeremy Fears Jr. had been under fire the last few games. He had been criticized for I think definitely I think the Minnesota game when he basically pulled the Draymond Green. I think he should have been ejected from that because people had criticized him and gave him crap for the things he had been doing the last few games. But Tom Izzo kept him playing, and some people were calling for Jeremy Fears to be suspended. Tom Izzo knew Tom Izzo trusted Jeremy Fears to figure that out, and I mean he did. Jackson Kohler also contributed with 11 points, 16 rebounds, so 2 double-doubles on the day for Michigan State. Jordan Scott with 10 points, and Kerr Tang with 10 points off the bench. But that's not to say Illinois was right there. Keaton Wagler it was ugly from the field, but man, those free throws. He was getting to the free throw line. My goodness.
That boy's a problem, and he also probably, if you look at the end, he probably should have been the one to hit that shot, hit the three, to probably take it to see if he can make it to get it to triple overtime. But
yeah,
or double overtime. I mean,
yep. David Murkovich, 18 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists. Ivisic fouled out, I think it was in overtime or late in the second half, and I think that was crucial. That was the crucial thing for Michigan State to win was the ability to get Tomislav Ivisic fouled out. And I mean, Andrei Stojakovic had 17, so this was just back and forth. But Michigan State able to really kind of rebound from that loss at Minnesota and the loss to Michigan last week. So they're right back on track, and they're a game back or so of the Big Ten. So that top of the Big Ten. Yeah, Michigan's 12-1. Illinois they've lost the lead. Yeah, Michigan's back in the driver's seat. Nebraska's right there at 10-2. And then Purdue is not too far off, 2.5 games at 9-3. But I mean, from one beautiful game to another, we need to go down to Chapel Hill because this.
Oh my gosh!
I will say this in college basketball strictly, this is the best rivalry. I think this is the best rivalry in college basketball.
Bar none. Bar none. Bar none. Bar none.
I mean, College Game Day was there. You had everything. I even saw North Carolina they gave out the "I Love Drake May" T-shirts, which I found funny, and that was great. And I even saw a video of Drake May. Like he made a video, and they showed it in the Dean Smith Center. I think during the game, but this was just a tale of two halves for both teams. Thoroughly dominated the first half. Like that first half was all Blue Devils. I mean, they started the game with an 18-5 run. So they suffocated North Carolina in that first half. Like North Carolina couldn't get anything going. And they were able to get out to a double-digit lead. But when the second half hit, North Carolina was able to turn it up. And that's in part to Henry Vasar, because he had 0 points in the first half, but he had 13 in the second. He went 6 of 9 shooting from the field, 1 of 2 from 3, and also contributed 11 rebounds. Caleb Wilson, the match between Caleb Wilson and Cameron Boozer, that was such a fun matchup. Cameron Boozer had 24 points, 2 of 4 from 3. Caleb Wilson had 23 points, 1 of 2 from 3. But I think the main story of this is going to be Seth Trimble. He had 16 points in this game, and now you got it up here. Like this came down to the last possession after Henry Vasar did a good job defending Cameron Boozer without fouling, and this was the last possession of this game. And I'll say this: this is one of the best walk-offs in college basketball, the ones I've seen in my lifetime. So we got it. We can go ahead and play it because we got to just take this in.
Boozer switches onto him. Dixon the kick. Trimble! Got it! And Carolina wins it!
Absolutely electric, man.
Yeah. And it's even better when you remember, I think, Seth Trimble, because he was out the entirety of last year, so he did not get to play in this particular game. And he's the only guy who knew what it was like to play in Duke, North Carolina, because almost the entire rest of the team was new to this. So Seth Trimble being the guy to hit that in the Dean Smith Center, that had to have felt so great for him, because it's he's the senior, he's graduating, he's gonna be gone. But that has to be a forever moment for him. And North Carolina, for what I thought, I didn't know what they were going to be like, because the non-con was kind of weird for them, because they did beat Kansas, they beat them at home, and beat Kentucky, but they got the doors went off of them by Michigan State, and then in the ACC play early on, they lost at SMU, and then at Stanford, and at Cal. So I was a little bit concerned for what they're going to do, but this Duke win pretty much secures their spot in the tournament. They already
have a huge win earlier in the year at Virginia, so that's another huge win for them.
Yeah, here's another thing: the post game shenanigans happen where okay, so I saw the video circulating of a water bottle being thrown, and then John Shire alleges that one of the Duke staff members got punched by a fan who rushed the court.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, "Uh-oh, this is some there's more bad blood. What just what it needs, more bad blood." I want to talk about this 6-game stretch in the end of the season. They're at NC State, at Syracuse, Louisville at home, Virginia Tech, Clemson at home, and then at Duke to finish the season. That 6-game stretch, I guess we'll say this 8-game stretch right here, man, this could make or break their season.
Yeah. I'm definitely I'm definitely tuning into the rematch, because I'm already anticipating that Duke will love nothing more than to get theirs back. And I just and back to the John Shire thing, that's he was complaining whatever, and he was whining about it, and I'm here's the thing, yeah, I mean, if it's true, the guy did get punched, and yeah, but the guy who did throw the water ball should be suspended. But at the same time, the Duke fans chucked water balls at North Carolina after winning at Cameron Indoor about 2 years ago. So I don't even want to hear it. Like, just no. Just no. But yeah, anyways, that rivalry is just going to be intense. I'm waiting for that rematch.
Yeah, I cannot wait for the rematch, dude. And then also another notable game. Friday we had a biggest matchup as UConn went down to St. John's at Madison Square Garden, and now they are tied atop the Big East at 10-1.
And you know what this does for Iowa State? It makes our St. John's win even better.
Sure does. Thank you, St. John's.
Oh, dude.
Oh,
This felt like the most perfect weekend for Iowa State. They win, and then you had number 3 go down. You had number 5 go down. I think number 6 went down.
Yes,
This was
4,
about
5, 6, and 7 went down.
That's about as perfect of a weekend you could have as an Iowa State fan, like to get yourself.
I was getting
to the top
nervous for the
5.
Illinois game. I'm like, oh boy. I'm like, they're gonna come back and win, aren't they? And Michigan State held up their end of the bargain. Now we're moved up to top. We're in the top 5 now.
Yep. Yeah, and we're not too far off from number 2 Michigan, who was like they stayed because they beat the brakes off Ohio State yesterday.
Yep.
So then and then real quick, it's a big Monday. It's like obviously everybody's locked into at least in the Big 12. It's like NC State and Louisville is the appetizer. Louisville's ranked number 24.
That comes on at 6?
Yep. And then the main event is number 1 Arizona and number 9 Kansas. And fun fact, this is going to be the first time in the Bill Self regime that Kansas will be playing a number 1 team at Allen Fieldhouse.
Oh, the atmosphere there is going to be insane.
And another fun fact too. I think Bill Self is 38-0 with Kansas on Big Monday.
That stat is absolutely insane. Like his record at Kansas is absolutely gouty. Like I don't even. It's just I'm in awe, to be honest with you.
So I'm gonna definitely be everybody's tuning into this. Like I'm probably just gonna be just somewhere just on my computer or whatever. I'm just gonna be maybe in the library just watching this. And people are like, "What the fuck is going on? I don't know what this guy's doing." And it's just I'm just watching basketball on the library. It's just fun.
I love it. All right, guys. Thank you guys.
Wait, we forgot to mention. Oh, we didn't even mention the Iowa State ladies. They've won 5 straight.
Oh, yes.
They got a win over Utah on Saturday, and they play BYU tomorrow. But from losing 5 straight, and there's consideration of them not even making the tournament to now having won 5 straight, and they do have a shot in the dark. There is a chance that they maybe, just maybe, if they take care of business and get like these wins, maybe win out, they could be back in the talks of hosting the first 2 rounds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they'll be playing at BYU tomorrow. Yeah, they are 19-5 on the year, so they're 3 games back of Baylor. But I mean, I'm certain that if Iowa State can get a couple of games and maybe have some things fall their way, they could play themselves into the top 4 seed in the Big 12 tournament and whatnot. So yeah, so the ladies are back. They're firmly back.
Let's go.
All right. Well, I just had to get that out of the way real fast because didn't want to omit the ladies.
We can't omit the ladies. The ladies deserve love too. All right, guys. Thank you guys for. This is one of our longest shows, but thank you, sickos, for watching the Bleav in Iowa State podcast. Big thanks to FanDuel. If you hit any of those prop bets, we'd love to hear what you hit on. But thank you for FanDuel for being a sponsor to the Bleav in Iowa State podcast. If you want to talk to us and chat us up on Twitter, I can be found on Twitter at SciTiGuy, and Cody can be found at Twitter at TiernewsBurner. And then also, lastly, follow us on social media, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitch. The Twitch is Bleav in ISU 2025. So for that is the conclusion of the show. For Tyler Carter.
And for Cody Van Silem.
This is the Bleav in Iowa State podcast. Roll Clones, baby.
Go Cyclones.